What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Verse Crypto channel, the most savage and degenerate crypto channel out there. My name is Khaos Kris, and I'll be your host today. Before I hop in this video, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on bell notifications so I keep you guys up to date with the latest, greatest news and information within this space. With that being said, let's hop around this video. As always, we've got another awesome, super duper cool live stream. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with the wrapped Bitcoin version of on the Pulsechain, or the PWBTC. The price went up. A lot of people are wondering, hey, what's going on? Something about a really big wallet trying to bring pDAI to peg being involved. In addition, there was a phenomenal researcher within the pDAI community who came out with some insane research on the shield tank with Beetroots. And today, I really want to highlight and talk about this research because it's going to be extremely important in order to understand what's truly happening with the pDAI ecosystem. And to be honest with you guys, I am just amazed by what I saw and heard, and based on the digging. So it's a combination of what this researcher said and some more digging that I did. And I want to give you guys my overall thoughts. And in my honest opinion, this is probably the missing piece to truly understand what is going on with the pDAI, the pegging theory. So before we hop into that, let's give some people some time to get into the live stream. So I just want to talk a little bit about Bitcoin and stuff, and then we'll get into the stuff that you guys really want to see. So to start off, just looking at Bitcoin, we had a little bit of a drawdown. Some people were speculating it was going to go up, but in the fall, right around this time, it starts to push down. This initial push down was due because of apparently Tesla selling some Bitcoin. We went up a little bit, and then we went down again because there's some speculation over FTX and liquidating a bunch of crypto coins. And so I'm going to talk about that in a minute and how that's going to be extremely important going on into this next week if you're going to get into new cryptos, or maybe how it'll affect pDAI, the Pulsechain ecosystem, yada yada, and all the details. So overall, Bitcoin trading right around 25K. There's a huge question mark. Will Bitcoin go down this week due to what's happening with FTX, or will it stay the same? So I'll tell you that in a second. Now, moving over to trading bubbles. So pretty much just blood in the street. Everything's red right now. There's not really that many green ones. Caspa, proof of work blockchain. They use like a hyperdag. A little controversy behind this, but this blockchain is an absolute winner in the past bear market. I think it went up like 200 or 300x or something. Arbitrum's down. Everything's down. Now let's go into top 200, see what's popping. Pulse is climbing back, ladies and gentlemen. I think we might have hit a bottom on the Pulsechain. I'm not really sure. Some people are speculating that might be the case. Not really sure. Another coin that's actually running storage. I actually like this coin a lot. It's basically a storage coin on the Ethereum blockchain. Don't be surprised if you see this as a really great PRC20 play, since PRC20s are doing absolute numbers on the Pulsechain. So I absolutely love this token as well. Now, let's just get quickly into what's going on with FTX, and I want to briefly touch on this because this is going to be important for this week. So basically, what FTX is doing is they're basically liquidating about $3.4 billion worth of cryptos this week. And coming down here, just taking a look at what coins they're planning on liquidating. And what liquidating means is they're going to go sell it and then use it to pay off the bankruptcy. That's basically how the entire process works. So the major one's going to be Solana, and I get it. Most of you guys probably don't like Solana and FTT. So these tokens are basically going to be sold off. A big one's going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is where the main concern is, because believe it or not, there's the wrapped Bitcoin pool is going to be tied to Ethereum pool. So it's actually going to be kind of like a double loss to Ethereum, and then that's going to cause a cascading effect across all altcoins. So typically when you see Bitcoin fall and Ethereum fall, you're going to see most of these altcoins falls. In addition, we have Matic, Aptos, and then XRP, and then we'll see some stable coins. So you never know. You might see a little bit of a depegging, while on the Pulsechain we have the pegging. I'm just kidding, but you guys get the point. So the main thing I want to get into, and I don't really want to just talk about what's happening with this, is, this upcoming week, there might be blood on the streets, and we might see Bitcoin get down to anywhere from 20 to 24K range. And so this might impact the Pulse chain. This might impact any of your favorite cryptocurrencies. So what I suggest, it's Sunday. You can definitely come and look at your wallet address. Make sure you have some stable coins. Make sure you have some dry powder ready to go. Because if these cryptos are sold off into the market and we see a massive price impact, this is going to be your opportunity to buy all these coins really, really cheap. Well, not really cheap, but when it's going down like anywhere from 10 to 30%. And so in my opinion, this is a great opportunity. It's not necessarily, well, it sucks that we're seeing cryptos being sold, but the DJ in me is coming out and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to offload some money and yada, yada, yada. So we'll see if this actually comes to fruition going on into the future. So really, really good stuff. Now, the other thing I want to cover real quick, let's just take a look at where we're sitting at with Pulsechain. So Pulsechain, basically, it's just been crashing for a little bit, and everyone's been making fun of the price chart and all that stuff, and we're down here, and it seems like we've been trading. Oh, wait, let me make sure you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Sorry, my little screen right here. So basically, we've been going down here, and it's just been crashing and burning, and we're waiting for a trend reversal to essentially basically come up here, and then from here, just like shoot up. So in my opinion, because it's been trading sideways for this long, there's a good chance that we might have bottomed out here, and we're waiting for that lawsuit to come out and see what happens and what's the significance of said lawsuit. So that's definitely something to look at. And then the other thing I want to point out is Incentive Token is an absolute sleeper right now. It's sitting at $1. It's bottoming out as well. And don't be surprised. Oh, well, of course. I did it again. Don't be surprised if we start to see this thing go absolutely to the moon as well. So really, really good stuff. Cool. So I know you guys want me to get to the pDAI stuff, so I'll get to it. Let me just double check, see if we got any questions or anything going on. So I think everyone's in the chat that wants to be here, all that good stuff. So Viber Finance, yeah, shout out to Adam. Check out Viber Finance. Cody Cameron, super hype for pDAI, probably due for a slight correction in prompt. I can see 10 cents soon through this momentum. You and Vibra doing God's work in the Pulse sub community. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Cody. That means a lot. I do think we'll hit 10 cents. As to whether or not it happens this month or next month, that's the real question. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 10 cents within 3 months, but you never know. It could happen sooner rather than later. So that's a really great assessment. Now, shout out to P4. Awesome to see you, man. Bobby, I'll serenade while we wait. I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you. I know you were right believing for so long. I'm all out of love. What am I without you, man? That's a really oh God. What's the name of that song again? God. But yeah, man, awesome lyrics. Cool. So, fishing with Camo Joe, eyes on, and then the hopped in experience. Let's go. All right, cool. Now that I went through the questions, we got some news events to start off with. So, starting off with the big news event, with news event number 1, we're gonna start off with Beetroot, and then we're gonna move all the way through. So, as most of you guys know, I've been talking a lot about Beetroot. I have this theory that Beetroot might be involved with the pDAI pegging thing, but they just put up a really interesting piece of news. So let me show you a little screen share. So essentially what happened is someone, not us, started a small beat Atropa LP pool. Here is the chart just saying. And if you go back on their Twitter, they had a huge pool saying that, should we start a Beetroot Atropa pool? So the one thing I want to point out right now is Atropa is now paired up with Beetroot. And if you come over here to the chart, essentially we're going to see Beetroot basically follow the price of will be tied to the price of Atropa. So if I come over here, it says Beat/Atropa. It's at about $270. I know $270 is not a lot, but keep in mind we're about 600x, 700x away from the pegging. So if I come over here to Excel, so let me do some quick mathematics real quick. So let's say 600. Yeah, so essentially, if we were to hit peg, that would actually put in a lot of money straight into the Beetroot token. So I think it's a really great thing that we're starting to see Beetroot tied up with the Atropa token, and it could be proven to be extremely valuable going on to the future. Now, going to our next piece of news. Rat Bitcoin is going absolutely crazy right now, and everybody wants to know what is going on. Now, to start off with this big event, I'm gonna show you basically a tweet from our boy Hollynomics. So 414 just interacted with the PRAP BTC token. Always felt this one would have its day, and when it's gonna hit, it's gonna explode. To PRC Valhalla. So basically what he's saying is, if you come over here, you'd put in this wallet address right here, and I think I'll probably pop this into the chat, but essentially the 414 wallet was the one that's creating Atropa, legal, and all these tokens. Now what this wallet address did was it came in and bought a bunch of rat Bitcoin, and with that rat Bitcoin, I believe they actually paired that rat Bitcoin up with pDAI. And so if I come over here, we have the rat BTC rat Pulse pool, and let me bring up the rat BTC slash I think it's the DAI pool. So right here, yes. So essentially what happened was this wallet address paired up that rat BTC with the DAI. Now, why is this significant, and what is going on, Kris? So the reason why this is significant is, number one, with this liquidity pool, it's basically going to combine the price of rat BTC with pDAI going on to the future. Essentially what this means is when we see pDAI go up, it's also going to bring the price of rat BTC up as well. Now, the next question you might be asking yourself, why is a Tropa wallet address trying to pump the rat BTC price? And so this was one question I was asking myself when I was looking at this. Now, keep in mind, from my understanding, you can technically interact with like the maker contract and mint DAI using rat BTC. But the reason why not many people are doing this is because, you know, when rat BTC was copied over, it was sitting at about, I think, like 30K at the Pulsechain fork. And because it's sitting at about a couple $100, it's not economically feasible to mint with rat BTC. So essentially there's not going to be a problem with inflation, because if you're taking $10 of rat BTC and you're minting it for right around like $1 of pDAI, no one's going to do that. No one wants to take that loss. And so essentially what I think is happening right now is that as more and more of these pDAI tokens are being burnt through this Atropa wallet address and basically removed from circulation, so that we can see, well, not necessarily removed from circulation, but essentially pushing the price of pDAI up, there's going to be a need for the possibility of pDAI to be minted into the future. And so in my opinion, what I think the 414 wallet address is trying to do is bring rat Bitcoin up to some sort of parity or up to a higher value, so that anyone who wants to come in and mint pDAI using the rat BTC collateral can do so. And so in my opinion, what I think the 414 address is trying to do is basically add value to this rat BTC, so that in the future, if we hit peg, we'll still have an avenue or a route to mint more DAI tokens if we start to see the price of DAI go above $1. Some people think it's going to go above $1. I know I said I think it's going to be $420.69, but we're not really sure where the peg is going to happen or where it's going to be placed. But it does make sense that we should have some sort of avenue to mint DAI in a feasible manner, so that it doesn't collapse the price. And so in my opinion, this is just my opinion, that's why I think rat BTC is being bought up by the 414 address. And so if I come back over here to screen share, let's see if I can find any more pairings. So there's that one with DAI, and then I believe they had one with Atropa. Let's see. Rat BTC and Atropa. That was the other one I saw. Yeah, so this is also the other big one. So we had rat BTC and pDAI, and then the other one is going to be rat BTC and Atropa. So you can already see that essentially rat BTC will be tied into Atropa. So if you guys sit down and you just do a full analysis of what's going on with wrap BTC, basically come over here, you're going to see that the total token supply of this token is going to be sitting right around 154,410. And so how these pools work is essentially if you have one pool go up, it's going to bring the price up as well. So we can definitely see the price of wrap BTC hit anywhere between, I would say, 150 to 300x if pDAI were to go to peg. If pDAI were to go to peg, that means Atropa will go up, and that also means the price of wrap BTC would be dragged up as well. And so, in my opinion, if we were to hit that mark, so I believe it was $93 last time I checked, and let's just say if it hits peg, it would go up by 300 based off the liquidity pool. That means we'll have a Bitcoin price right around $30,000. So based off of what I'm seeing, this is how I see it played out. Now, in my honest opinion, I think wrap BTC right next to pDAI is going to be some of the biggest plays in the next bull market. You're already seeing the 414 address start to buy this token up, which means there's a good chance they want to bring it to parity for whatever reason. Maybe it's for my reason, or maybe it's just for a store value reason. But ultimately, in my opinion, you have wrap BTC, which has 154,000 tokens. You have multiple protocols interacting with wrap BTC, and then you got the god of all wallets, the 414 wallet, buying it up, adding it to a liquidity pool with Atropa, pDAI, and I guarantee you will see wrap BTC with other tokens going on to the future. This is like a slam dunk investment, not financial advice, in my opinion, to get into wrap BTC. But ultimately, whether or not we see the use case, that's something that's going to come out down the road. It's probably going to be something closer to the pegging. So that's my full analysis. Now, before we get into the next thing, I want to double check, make sure we don't have any questions or anything. So cool. Okay, Bobby, all out of love by Air Supply. Okay, there it is. Awesome. Shaq, pDAI to 10 cents by mid-October and $1 by December. That's a pretty cool analysis. Now, Bobby, can you put the correct wall address for Beat/Atropa chart? I forget my ignorance. What's the 414 address? So can you put the correct wallet address for the Beat in the Atropa chat? Okay. So let me see if I can grab that real quick. Here, I'm just gonna. All right, so I'll just drop it right here. Awesome. Now, awesome job. So, Shaq, so you mean wrap BTC will reach the price of Bitcoin on ETH? Well, that's what I think it's going to be set up for. Now, Shaq, the real question about this is, will the trading bots kick in to maintain the wrap BTC price, or will it go a little bit higher? Because keep in mind, this is 154,000 tokens. And so because it's only 154,000 tokens, it doesn't take that much economic energy to push the price of wrap BTC up. So in my opinion, it could possibly maybe have some sort of parity between it, or it could go above it. So I'm not really sure. So we'll just have to see. So awesome. All right, now let's get into the next piece of news. Now, this is actually pretty big, and this is what I'm going to spend a minute on talking about. So Beetroot had a shield tank with the homie Zach and a bunch of other people. And on the shield tank, he brought on a really cool researcher. Now, I'm going to do a little screenshot. So we have Beetroot's shield tank. And basically, he calls it the original Killer Whales TV, taking a shot at Wendy O and Ben Armstrong. And so he has Ian and Zach and then Pulsechain. And so essentially what happened during the shield tank was that people are coming on, showing their project. Now, this researcher named Sunny Detective comes on and starts talking about the entire Atropa ecosystem. And so let me break down the Atropa ecosystem. So essentially, he comes on a shield tank, and what he started doing was talking about why do we have this crazy, messy ecosystem going on? And what's the whole point of having all these tokens? Because not many people really know what's going on. Zach said it's used as a marketing tool for people in other countries because of the names. Some people think it's like a rug pull risk where one token's going to basically mint an endless amount of tokens and drop all the prices. Nobody knows what's going on. And so Sunny Detective brought out some really, really great pieces of information that made me think and basically laid out why everything's like this. So let me pull up one more graph before we kind of get into this next phase. So I want to pull up this right here, and then I'm going to put this right here. So essentially what we have right now is this is a list of all the tokens that's going on, and then this is like the web of the chart. Now, in order to really understand why this ecosystem is the way it is, we need to understand what's the point of a liquidity pool, which I find many people don't really have a good grasp of. So we'll just get get into this, and then we'll apply it to what's happening with the Atropa ecosystem. So I'm just gonna draw like a little nice chart. So let's say we have DAI right here. And then let's also say that we have, we'll just say Atropa for right now, and then we'll move on from that. So essentially, basically, what's happening at first is it has a lot to do with these liquidity pools. So we'll call these LPs. And so basically, what a liquidity pool is where you take your DAI and your Atropa right here, and then let me get a blue pen, and you basically pair them up together so that $1 of DAI is going to equal $1 of Atropa. And so essentially through this, anyone who wants to come in and make swaps for Atropa, what they need to do is they need to buy DAI first. And so that's basically liquidity pools 101 for everyone to understand. Now, what this ecosystem is doing is essentially it's setting up a series of all these pairings all across the board. And let me bring that one up right here. So we're seeing a mass amount of these pairings all across the board so that the Atropa wallet address owns a majority of the TSFI wallet address. And then the TSFI owns the majority of like the I'm Fat, the Treasury Bill, the Teddy Bear. And so you have this massive amount of liquidity pools coming in. And so what the wallet address was doing was it was essentially taking money from the Atropa token and setting up all these tokens and creating these LP pairs. Now the question is, why are we setting up these LP pairs? And within each of these LP pairs, it's basically there's money, but you don't have access to that money. So the reason why I say that is because, so coming back to our chart right here, in order for you to go from DAI to Atropa, you must purchase DAI. The reason why I say that is the DAI in the Atropa liquidity pool has a very large amount. Any other pairing between Atropa as of right now, let's say like Pepe let's say there's a pairing between Pepe and Atropa. If you were to use that liquidity pool to swap to Atropa, you're going to get hit with slippage, which means that there's not enough money in that liquidity pool, and basically the change in the price is going to eat some of your transaction swap. So if you use $10, there's a good chance you only get $5 from it. So based off of that reasoning, so from DAI to Atropa, in order to go from Atropa to a token like I believe it was legal, essentially what you need to do is you need to come in from, and I'll put Rat Pulse right here. So I'll put Rat Pulse right here. So in order for you to go from essentially Rat Pulse all the way to legal, you need to come into Rat Pulse, buy DAI, and then from DAI you need to buy Atropa, and then from Atropa you need to buy legal. So basically you're doing 1, 2, 3 transactions in the process. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 transactions. And so this is basically the entire Atropa ecosystem in a nutshell. And between each of these liquidity pools, you have this $1 pairing. So last time I checked, I believe there's about like 1 million in this one, 1 mil, and then last time I checked, I think there's something like 3 mil in this one. And then last time I checked, I think there might be like 200K in this one right here, somewhere right around that. And so because these are the most liquid pools, this is how you can navigate within each of these ecosystem tokens. Now, you're probably sitting here asking yourself and scratching your head. It's like, all right, Kris, like I get what you're saying. Why are we going through this entire process of trying to really explain liquidity pairs? Now, what Sonny was coming out and saying was, he was saying that, so we have all these LP pairs. And the reason why I have all these LP pairs is we basically have all this fake money in between each of them. And we're basically waiting for a huge flood of money coming in. And at the edge of these LP pairs, there's going to be small pairings between Wrap Pulse and a lot of these native tokens. And so I'm going to do a screen share of this and try to explain it a little bit. So essentially how these LP pairs work is it's like a tree. And essentially you're going to have a DAI at the top of it. And then from DAI, it goes down to Atropa. And then from Atropa, you're going to have TSFI. And then you're going to have legal. And then I think the other one might be Poppy or something like that. And then we're not going to go for every single thing, but this is a great example. So essentially what the LPs are doing is they're basically creating something called what I call the sponge theory. So each of these tokens are paired up with between DAI and Atropa, and the Atropa TSFI, Atropa legal, and then Atropa Poppy. Now, what's happening right now is you got all this fake money on the inside, but the 414 wallet is starting to put these pairings between each of these tokens and Wrapped Pulse. So you have Wrapped Pulse right here. You have Wrapped Pulse right here. And then you have Wrapped Pulse right here. And so basically what is going to happen is right now the value of Wrapped Pulse is extremely small. And so while this ecosystem is being built out and we have the launch of more tokens going on to the future, the 414 wallet is creating these Wrapped Pulse pools between each of these tokens. And so if you look at some of these pools between each of these tokens, it's about $100 to $200. And so just stick with me, guys, because I'll loop you guys in towards the end. So let me come across here. So if I come over here to let's see, Dex Screener. Hold on, where are you, Dex Screener? So cool. So if I come over here to Dex Screener and we see let's just do the legal pool. So right now we have a legal pool of $385 right here, and then we have a Poppy pool. And then Poppy pool with Wrap Pulse, $881. And then also we have the Atropa / Wrap Pulse pool, which is sitting at about $118,000 on top of that. So the main point I'm trying to get across is we have this tree being formed between each of these liquidity pairs. And so since Wrap Pulse is sitting at right in some of these pools between $600 to, we'll say, like a couple $1,000, as the price of Wrap Pulse starts to go up, it's going to bring the price of Poppy, legal, and TSFI up. And as the price of all these tokens go up, it's also going to bring the price of Atropa up. I misspelled Atropa, my bad. But you guys get the point. So, terrible handwriting. So, basically, once the price of this goes up, this is going to go up. And then Atropa is going to go up. And then in return, because Atropa is basically the maker DAO token of the entire ecosystem, the Atropa token is going to go up as well. And so when you look at the beginning of my live stream, I talked about how essentially Wrap Pulse was going down, 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 down. Now, right now, the real question is, what's going to happen if Pulse were to hit 100x? Most people think it's going to hit 100x. A lot of these pools that have like $600, $800 is going to skyrocket to $60,000, $80,000. And so what all these tokens are doing is they're going to be these massive, massive sponges where they're going to absorb all of this money into the ecosystem straight to Atropa. And once it goes straight to Atropa, it's going to bring the price of DAI, and it's going to skyrocket very, very close to peg. So in my opinion, what I'm starting to see right now is the reason why these tokens are being laid out the way they are is because they want to make sure that not one token has a massive amount of sell pressure. In addition, some of these tokens have some hidden mechanics and utilities that we don't understand. The down token has been known to absorb sell pressure from DAI. The TSFI token has been known to absorb buy pressure from DAI. And so having each of these tokens in this weird, like I call it sponge, is essentially going to set up so that DAI can basically become a decentralized stablecoin. If one of those tokens had massive sell pressure, there's a good chance that the entire ecosystem would collapse if it was just a 1-1 pairing between like Atropa and DAI. But because we have so many tokens and so many webs paired up together with Rat Pulse as these little branches all around, once we start to see the price of Rat Pulse appreciate, that's what's going to really push DAI up to that $1/peg. And so in my opinion, I'm calling this the sponge conspiracy theory. Now, within the sponge conspiracy theory, there's also some other interesting stuff that Sonny was talking about. Now, here, let me pull up my main thing real quick. So one other thing that he was talking about was, out of all these tokens, there's some interesting things going on with this NV token and also another token called First Pulse Mutual Fund. Now, coming over to MV, basically what happened was the 414 wallet kept buying up this token. And so if I go down and you kind of look at the price of this token, it was actually doing really, really well. It got up to about 2,000. Now it's sitting at 4 cents. This token has been renounced, but for some reason it keeps on minting tokens. And so one thing Sonny was talking about was this entire ecosystem that you're seeing, it's like a game. And whoever controlled the 414 wallet address, when they launched the MV token, they actually imprinted within this coding a series of 4 wallets. And within each of these 4 wallets, they actually owned a specific token that was actually launched by the 414 wallet address. And for some reason, we don't know why this is happening, but those tokens were rewarded with a 1% mint function coming out to them through the MV smart contract, through the MV project. And so basically those 4 wallets owned a combination of all these tokens. And so the biggest point I'm trying to get across is, while I'm really big on the sponge theory about how it's going to suck in a lot of this Rat Pulse, this whole thing is like a massive game. Because what you're seeing with the MV token is people are getting rewarded with mint function payouts, because out of all the MV tokens minted, 1% goes to 4 of these wallets. The rest goes to the 414 wallet address. And for some reason, the 414 wallet address is selling it down. I'm not really sure why. But the main 2 tokens that have this similar mint function is the MV token and also the First Pulse Mutual Bond. This was another one that I saw. And if we come into the MV token address right here, we can see right now they're holding the token A1A. And then over here for the First Pulse Mutual Bond, they're also holding tokens like Treasury Bill, Atropa, Bear, Legal, and the token A1A. So as to why these tokens are minting, I'm not really sure. Some people think that the MV token is going to be the main place where there's going to be an exchange between Rat Pulse and MV. And so if we come over here to the chart right here, and I bring up, I believe it was MV. Now, if I come over here and I copy the contract address, this was something I noticed that was extremely interesting. So the MV Rat Pulse pool right now has a liquidity of 2,000, which is actually pretty high. And so there's some speculation that there might be some sort of tie between MV and the Rat Pulse, because if Rat Pulse were to hit that 100x, this pool right here would go up to right around 200,000, which is going to have a massive amount of flood of economic energy straight into the MV token. So as to whether or not what's going on with this token, I'm not really sure, but maybe it will have to do with some collateralization backing behind pDAI or whatnot. But ultimately, just kind of wrap this up. I know what I said was extremely confusing, but when you look at each of these DAI tokens on the chart, and I'll just bring this up right now. It's basically, I call it the Atropa Tree. And each and every single one of these tokens is like a branch within the Atropa Tree. And within each of these tokens, they're slowly getting paired up with Rat Pulse, so that when we start to see Pulsechain go viral and the price of Pulse go up, the price of these tokens are going to go up, and basically all roads lead to Atropa, and at the end of that road, it's going to be pDAI. So technically all roads lead to pDAI. But essentially what I'm calling this is the sponge theory. It's like a large sponge that's being set up to absorb all this economic energy, and once all that economic energy is absorbed up, all that fake money between each of these tokens is essentially going to get replaced with fresh money from the wrap pulse, and this is what's going to push us up to the pDAI pegging. Now, the one thing you might be asking yourself, okay, so that's a really great explanation, but what's going to appreciate wrap pulse? Now, there's one big event that I want to remind you guys of that could potentially impact the price of Pulsechain, and it's going to be that SEC lawsuit happening on November 28th. Yes, November 28th. And so if you guys know, 28's number of wealth, which is actually kind of funny if you're into any of the numerology stuff or whatever. But essentially, the one thing I'm trying to say is how I'm seeing this play out is something big might happen on November 28th. Will Richard Heart settle? Will Richard Heart fight this? I'm not really sure. But in my opinion, I think November 28th is a date that every single one of you guys need to write down on your calendar, because there's a good chance that some sort of news will come out about this that could push the price of Pulse up. And when this pushes the price of Pulse up, this is what's going to bring in the sponge theory, and this is what we're going to see a lot of economic energy flow into the entire Atropa ecosystem. Now, with the entire Atropa ecosystem, we're also starting to see the integration of wrap Bitcoin coming in as well. And so with wrap Bitcoin coming in as well, there's a good chance that we might see wrap Bitcoin hit parity because of its ties between Atropa and pDAI. And so within this massive interconnected web, we'll probably see more PRC20 tokens jump in, add extreme amount of value, and then essentially accelerate this up into the moon. Now, the other thing that Sonny was talking about was he was saying that there was like 4 tokens that were under the Atropa token, and within each of these 4 tokens, there's 8 tokens that are interconnected and swapped into each other. So basically, you have about 32 tokens. We saw about 3/4 of the ecosystem go live, and we're waiting for another 1/4 of the tokens to go live. And what I mean by go live, you start to see liquidity pairings, you start to see value added to these tokens. So there's a good chance that going on to the future, we'll probably see more tokens launched by the Atropa ecosystem. And in my opinion, once the rest of this branch is left out, the entire ecosystem will be built out, and this is going to be the main Atropa sponge/tree system that's going to be used to bring pDAI to peg. So definitely really great stuff. So I'm pretty sure I probably have 1,000 questions. So let's see what's going on. So cool. Now coming down. So awesome job. Speculation, guys, but keep your minds open. Yeah, I do agree with you, Rick. This is all speculation. I'm just doing some research. So Shaq, what do you advise like buying wrap Bitcoin? What do you advise like buying wrap BTC and DAI? Well, don't risk anything. Don't risk any money that you're not willing to lose. But essentially, that could be a play. But in my opinion, if you get in this ecosystem, I probably wouldn't get into the LP pairings. I would probably stick with either just buying DAI or wrap BTC. So I'm not really too keen on the LPs because of the slippage. So I recommend you just hold the tokens and let it just go up. Now, Dylan Villain. Oh man, thanks for the super chat, dude. That's actually my first super chat. So I'm gonna screenshot that. That's awesome. You think people should swap out pDAI for Hex in December? I think Pulsechain has unbelievable potential with how early we are. Awesome. Thanks for the super chat, Dylan. And so I do believe that pDAI is going to add a lot of economic energy to the system. And I do think that once we start to get it between a penny to $1, a lot of value is going to go into Hex. As to whether or not it's going to hit December, you have to assume a couple things. Will pDAI hit $1? Or will excuse me, the question is, where will pDAI be sitting at? The higher the price of pDAI, the more value that's going to be going into Hex. And so in my opinion, there's a good chance that Hex might have a little bit of a run after the pDAI pegging comes to fruition. I don't think everyone's going to be taking all their value from the Pulsechain ecosystem and basically going straight to fiat right off the bat. I think maybe 10 to 20% of people will do that. I think a majority of people within the pDAI ecosystem, they're going to buy Pulse, they're going to buy Incentive Token, they're going to buy Pulse Reflection, Beetroot, all these other tokens they're going to buy and try to see if they can quadruple their gains as well. So essentially it's going to set up this like whale system if you believe all this is going to come to fruition. So I'll leave it up to you guys to determine, but keep in mind, this is all speculation. The sponge theory is speculation in my opinion. So Vibra, I'd be DCing now until it's clear bottom is in. Mo Crypto, was Envy paired with Rat BTC? Let me double check that. I'm pretty sure it wasn't, but let's just see real quick. Yeah, so I'm looking at the MV Rat BTC pairing. There is a pair, and it's about $255 right now. I'm not really sure if that's the 414 wallet address, but that's a very small pair, so we'll just have to see. Dylan, I've known how to use MetaMask to access networks for 5 years, but not until we have realized the growth in the system. I just turned 23. Hey, Dylan, happy birthday, man. Good to see you, man. Shaq, where do you see Atropa once pDAI pegs to 1 USD? So from my understanding, Atropa is sitting about a 5x above pDAI. And so if it pegs to $1, it's probably going to hit about $5. So in my opinion, how I see this playing out is that Atropa is going to be right around $4 to $6. Not financial advice, but that's from the research I see, and that is definitely subject to change, because please keep in mind, Atropa is going to be paired up with a lot of other tokens. So, Shaq, where do you see the price of Atropa once the pegging happens? Already said that. This is insane. We'll go down history. Kong, how do we find official pDAI contract address? So you can just go on Deck Screener, and I would just look at like the DAI/Rat Pulse pool. So really good stuff. Let's see. I'm thinking the LP was moved from pDAI to keep the pDAI price more consistent and stable, and to make Atropa rise more from the time being. I'm probably wrong, but I don't know. So Pulsechain Future Millionaire, you're right to a certain degree. The idea is with these tokens is you're dividing the economic energy between all the tokens. And so if you have a sell pressure on one token, it's not going to really destroy the rest of the ecosystem. But essentially what we're going to see is when they rise together, especially if all of them are paired up with Rat Pulse, that's what's going to be that massive sponge event that I'm talking about. So this type of technology, and this is the other thing I wanted to mention, this type of technology that we're seeing right now has never been used before. This is truly like a new approach to a decentralized stablecoin. And if this works out, this could be potentially in other blockchains. The other thing I want to say, because not many, all right, let me back up. So there's a lot of people saying this might be a scam. This might be a bad actor. I just want to say first and foremost, we don't know if it's a bad actor. We don't know if it's Richard Heart. We don't know if it's another project or someone else in it. But the one thing I want to say is, based off of the trading bots, based off of all these tokens and how truly sophisticated the system's set up, in my opinion, if this were to be a scammer or a bad actor, they spent a lot of time trying to set this up, because the amount of utility and functions being put into this is truly mind-blowing. And every single day we learn something new, and every single day the narrative continues to change. So I want to make that as well. So, Dylan, thanks everyone. I learned about pDAI community off the verse, Khaos Kris. So I can't thank the universe enough with where I am in the moment. Shout out to you, man. It's also awesome. P4, noob question. How do you buy pDAI? Which contract address, etc.? Cheers. All right, here, I'll drop the contract address into the chat. And if you guys want to, get into pDAI, not financial advice. I know one of you guys are going to come at me and say that, I'm whatever. So here's the contract address right here. And so here, if you guys want to, I'll just do a quick tutorial. So if you want to come in by pDAI, here's what you're going to do. So quick screen share. If you come over here to PulseX, let's see if it will pop up. And then I'm going to connect. This is one of my, this is my degen wallet that I screw around with all the time. So I'm okay. I'll show you guys this wallet. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to come over here and you have like Pulse in your wallet. Now, the first thing you want to do is come here and find the DAI contract. And so you come over here, look at DAI, make sure you verify the contract, look at the liquidity right here, look at the market cap, etc., etc. Now, what I like to do is I like to come down here and look at the DAI pair right here, and I'll just click this, and then I'll come across here and essentially input it into the exchange. And so once you, well, let me go back here. So once you click on this down button, there's the address, and then you copy the address in, and then click it in, and then basically you can specify, all right, how much Pulse do I want to buy? And you can put it up like 1,000, 100 million, I don't know, whatever you want. And then you come here, you click swap, confirm swap, and then the smart contract will plop up here, and then you just hit confirm, and that's how you'll get your pDAI. So that's the process. And no, I'm not buying all that pDAI right now, just so you guys know. I know when you guys are gonna ask me the question. So cool. Now the other thing, Crypt Alien, how do you like how the game of Atropa? Do you think this is really ruining the momentum? No, I don't think it's going to be ruining the momentum, Crypt Alien, because the one thing I want to say is there's going to come a time where most of these tokens in the ecosystem are like all of them are tied to Atropa, and then you have like legal and whatnot. And so the big thing that I forgot what was the name of that influencer, Sunny Detective, I'm sorry. So the main thing Sunny Detective was talking about was, so you have Atropa, which is a 5x multiplier from Pulsechain, and then legal, which is like a 10x multiplier. And so the further out you go on this branch tree, the higher the multiplier you'll receive. So if Atropa 10x's, then that's what we're going to see with like tokens like legal, Poppy, and the whole 9 yards. Now, in my opinion, what I'm seeing here is there's going to come a time where the Atropa price is going to stabilize, depending on whether or not it's going to be at a dollar peg or whatever certain price it could be. And in my opinion, what that's going to do to most of these tokens is it's going to stay at a single price. And in my opinion, this is probably going to be like the best time to get into some of these other ecosystem tokens. But also, please keep in mind, all these are high risk projects. There's nothing wrong with getting into DAI and Atropa, not financial advice. I don't like to get into like the further branches because that's where things get really, really sketchy and we don't really understand what's going on. I can't stop you from doing it, but I don't highlight too much on other projects and other tokens. So please tread carefully. So, awesome. So, Crypt Alien, do you like the game of Tropa? I love Tropa, dude. Tropa is awesome, so it's really cool. It's cool. Dylan, financial literacy and dollar cost averaging while taking initiatives of responsibilities with capital gains comes first before any degenerate action. So cool. Gotcha. Now coming down here, Kung Fu. Binance hit will be short-lived. If Ripple obtains it is as speculative. Redefine RH Yang movements in the yen markets. Cool. Passive income projects. Great pick on Twitter getting sloated. Assuming that is yourself. Been to Puerto Rico? Yeah, man. Actually, I haven't been to Puerto Rico to surf, but I'm actually going to Costa Rica to surf. But yeah, man, that's me on Twitter getting pitted, man. So I really, really appreciate that, man. Hopefully sometime we'll meet in the future and we can go shred the gnar, dude. So, or slip or surf. So Bobby, let's talk about slippage when buying pDAI. I use PLS to buy the dip. It cost me 1 million pulse. I didn't realize it until after. So my question is, what's the best token to swap in and out of pDAI with? So Bobby, if you stay to the end, I'm going to talk a little bit about PDAS, and PDAS is going to help you with that problem. Now for pDAI, you're going to want to do it with Pulse, and you want to make sure you're on version 1. You might have been doing version 2 because there's still the version 1 liquidity pool, and the reason why you got hit by that was because of the version 2 swap. So awesome. Crypt Alien, but there's no liquidity to cash out. So all this fake money is just another way people will get turned off of this Pulsechain. Thanks for your time. Well, the other thing, Crypt Alien, but there's no liquidity to cash out. So all this fake money is just another way to. Okay, well, hold on. Crypt Alien. The one thing I will say about that, I'll see you in Telegram. But the big thing I want to say is the rat pulse is getting tied to a lot of these tokens. So when Pulsechain appreciates, that's what's going to appreciate a lot of these ecosystem tokens, and that's where we're going to see liquidity go across the entire sponge theory. So when you have this amount of money being tied up into the ecosystem, and finally you start to get that rat pulse route coming across, there's a good chance that if you look at the market cap and the amount of liquidity, you're not going to have any issues with any sort of problem swapping from rat pulse into pDAI. So that's kind of like the idea. So House, thanks for streaming and explaining everything. No, I appreciate it, man. It's good to see you. Check out House. Shaq, pleasure to Switzerland. Awesome. Passive income slotted typo. Oh, okay, I got you, man. Appreciate it, man. Crypt Alien, good job on stream. See you on Telegram. Appreciate you, man. Awesome. Dylan, I'm a surfer, mountain biker, and a skateboarder myself. Have you ever surfed San Clemente? Oh, dude. San Clemente is on my list, man. So I surfed Outer Banks. I surfed Cocoa Beach, where Kelly Slater was from. I want to go San Clemente, and then I really want to surf Pipeline up in Hawaii, but I'm not sure if the locals will let me on. So cool. All right, guys. Well, also, let's get out of the chat right now, and let's talk about the next part. Now, moving on from all the comments, there's one thing I also want to talk about that's really, really interesting. Now, I know most of you guys are probably fudding, well, not fudding, but you're probably saying like, okay, which token should I buy? What should I jump in? What's the play? Yada, yada, yada. Now, if you guys saw my last live stream, I was with a legend OG Hollynomics. Hollynomics actually created a really cool NFT project called the PRC Pantheon. And so we discussed how the PRC Pantheon works, and essentially you can come in, mint all these NFTs, and the fees from these NFTs are going to go into an ecosystem. And so how the ecosystem is broken down is with the mint and royalty sales, 20% goes to the dev, 60% goes to PRC LP SMIT or whatever. And so what LP SMIT is where they pair up two tokens together, they burn that LP pair, and then they start to receive rewards from that LP so that you're earning passive income. And so what Hollynomics and his entire team is doing over at PRC Pantheon is they're jumping into projects like Atropa, Legal, the ones that a lot of people don't want to touch. And so by owning this PRC Pantheon NFT, you can essentially set yourself up to earn some awesome passive income rewards when they start to launch staking. And so if you don't want to get into these projects, you don't want to risk it, you can buy one of these NFTs for $10, and there's a good chance that you might be able to hit I think it's like a 3,000% ROI off of this NFT. And so I want to show you guys one of the NFTs I minted. So I minted this today. I had no idea what was going on, but apparently I minted one of the ultra rare ones. And so the ultra rare has like the gold shooting out, and then I guess the rare has this weird clothing or whatever. But essentially you can receive one of these NFTs, and using this NFT, you can stake it into the contract. And what they're going to do is they're going to pay out all the PRC staking rewards to people, and then 40% of the staking rewards from LPs are going to go to PRC stakers, and 40% of those LPs are going to be automatically recycled into a feedback loop. So in my opinion, I really like what Hollynomics is creating with him and his crew. I really like getting into some of these tokens, and how I see the PRC Pantheon is kind of like your like ticket way into these tokens without like, you know, jumping the gun and feel like you have to take on risk with Atropa or any of these other projects. So that's just my opinion. You guys let me know down to chat what you guys are thinking. So it's really, really cool. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is this project. It's called PTUS. So I'm going to come over here and do a quick screen share. Now, in the last one of my last live streams, I talked a little bit about PTUS, and what I really like about PTUS is if you come over here to the Launchpad, basically if you have your wallet, you can connect your wallet and then execute a swap from rat pulse to pDAI, rat pulse to Atropa. And basically what this automatic routing will do is it's going to go into, I guess it's not going to come up, but it's going to go into PulseX, Fux, Velocimeter, and then it's also going to go into Easy Swap. And so basically it's going to go through each of these dexes and it's going to determine what's the best price. And so Bobby, I know you had a question about this. One thing I recommend is if you want to get pDAI, do that same process I showed you guys with PulseX, but go on to PDOS and use this one, because what it will do is it will route it through PulseX, Fux, Velocimeter, and then Easy Swap. Now, moving on, just talking a little bit about why I like PDOS so much. In my opinion, I see a lot of people in the pDAI community using this dApp, and I haven't really dove into it, and I've been kind of putting on the side. But after doing a little bit of research, I honestly think this actually might be a massive sleeper, especially in the bull market. And so one thing I want to show you guys is just come down here. So they have features, yada, yada, DEX aggregator. I want to show you guys the roadmap. So one thing that they just did was they just launched a token, and what they're planning on doing going on in the future is they're getting into limit orders and then gasless trading. Now, gasless trading is a very interesting thing, because what they want to do is they want to use their native token to approve transactions on their decentralized exchange. And so let's say you want to go from Rat Pulse to pDAI. Well, you can execute that swap paying for that transaction using the PDAI token. And so the reason why I like this is because this is going to help minimize slippage. It's going to help make things a little bit easier, less confusing. It's also going to help reduce the amount of transaction costs, especially when PulseX and the other platforms are not doing well. In addition, they're going to have a one-click swap with bridge dApps. They're also doing a fiat on-ramp as well. You come over here to the tokenomics utility. They're going to have a fixed supply. They're going to be deflationary, which means they're basically going to decrease the token supply based off the token revenue. In addition, if you own the PDAI token and you stake it out, you're going to earn some of the revenue rewards from swaps and exchanges that they do across each of these platforms. So overall, it's a really, really cool project. And then also on top of that, I believe they also had an audit. So this project has been audited right off the bat. And so let's see if I want to see if they're going to let me just like launch the dApp, just so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. All right, so here I'll just use my wallet real quick. And so this is going to be for anyone that also wants to just jump in and check this out. So let's say I wanted to go from Pulse to pDAI. So I put in pDAI, and then I'll just say like, we'll say 1199. So it's going to go through here. It's going to say fetch the best price. And so right here, it's going to make sure that you have minimal slippage. It's going to find the best platform to buy it. And then you can come down here and it'll show you the route. And so basically it's saying that it's going to, basically it's going to show you the route right here. So it says, all right, here's the route to Fux. Here's the route to PulseX. And then here's how you can do the swap. And then you come down here and hit swap. Now let's say you want to go from Pulse to, let's say Hex. So let's say you want to facilitate this swap. So it'll come down here, show you the best route, and then you can show the route right here. And right now it'll show you that the best route to go from Pulse to Hex is going to be straight through Fux. So we'll do the swap through Fux. Now, the one thing I really like about PDAI, if you're in the pDAI community, if you come over here, they actually preloaded Atropa. So if you want to get into Atropa, you can come down here and basically execute that swap for Atropa through this platform, and you can see that the slippage is extremely minimal. In addition, if you guys want to get into other tokens, I believe that they preloaded Down. Down's another token that a lot of people like. If you come over here and you want to get into Down, you can also do that. I think it's not showing that. I wonder, what if it's Rat Pulse? Yeah, so if you're interested in getting to the Down token, you can come over here and also execute that swap, and it'll also show you the route as well. So in my opinion, I think PDAI is going to be the best place to execute these swaps because it goes through all the platforms out there. And also, it's going to be a slam dunk, especially in the future when you have stuff with gasless fee swaps, bridge on-ramps, and maybe cross exchange transactions. So definitely really, really cool stuff. So cool. So we got some more questions. Awesome. Sparky, awesome to see you, man. Good to see Kong. Refined. I surfed Sebastian Inland 1982 in Daytona. That's awesome, man. Sebastian Inland's awesome. Bobby, that was a great stream with Hollynomics. Appreciate it. Redefined. NFTs make no sense to me. Well, I get it. It's a pixelated image, but what Hollynomics is trying to create is you own this NFT, and the mint function, the mint price, goes into buying up a lot of the Atropa ecosystem tokens. So it's basically an NFT with utility, and you can also earn passive income off of it. So that's the main thing. But I do agree, most NFTs are just weird and wacky. So I gotcha. So awesome. So Space, what do you think of THCZ? Will it dump at launch such that it could be a good entry point? So I heard something about TYRH had a little bit of a dump, and I actually called that dump. Well, dump, I believe, because, well, I didn't call it, but I was saying that a lot of people were going to start to sell off their token when the 55-day stake ends. And then, so right now there's a lot of FUD in that community. And so when people are very fearful, that's when you should be greedy. As for THCZ, I'd probably wait 3 to 4 weeks, let it drop a little bit. And then as it starts to drop, there'll be a great buying opportunity going into the future. So in my opinion, I probably wouldn't buy it right off the bat. I'll just wait a couple weeks and then get in. But I do think it could possibly be a really great play if we see TYRH pick up from what just recently happened. I need to do another live stream on it, but I've just been so stuck and deep in pDAI. So cool. Awesome, guys. Well, I think I'm going to wrap up the live stream. We just hit it right around an hour, right on the hour. So I want to thank every single one of you guys for jumping on this live stream. If you got any more questions, hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Telegram, leave a comment down below on this YouTube channel, and we'll dive into a little bit more. And I'm planning on doing a couple more pDAI streams. You guys love the pDAI streams, and we'll jump into it. And I will continue to update you guys as this murder mystery continues going on to the future. And before I wrap this video up, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on bell notifications so I keep you guys updated with the latest, greatest news and information within the space. My name's Khaos Kris. I love every single one of you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Sorry, that was a terrible stutter.